I'm a store manager in Farmville, Virginia, my first store. And I was actually off that day, but couldn't help myself. I go by the store and I see a lot of activity outside the back room of the store, and I pulled up and asked, "What the heck's going on?" They're like, "Sam's at the airport. Need somebody to come pick him up." And so of course I said, "Keep doing what you're doing. I'll go get him." And where I'd been off, I'd had a haircut. I ran by the house real quick, took a shower, and headed to the airport. Luckily, it was on the way. And so I picked Mr. Sam up at the local little airport in Farmville, and he had flown in by himself in his plane and was standing there waiting. And when I pulled up, he's like, "Took you some time, you're late." And I was like, "Well, Mr. Sam, it takes a little bit of time to get here from the store, about 30 minutes. He said, "All right, let's go." So we get in the car, and I had just bought me a new car, and he was kind of curious about what it was and ended up telling me I need to get me a truck instead of this car. So we worked our way through town. Mr. Sam's asking the normal questions back then, how much advertising was per column inch. We were talking about the Sunday premium pay and what that should look like. And luckily for me, there was a little bit of construction on the way back to the store. So we rolled into the store, we get into the parking lot, and when we pull in, he looks at his watch and he says, "You're right, it takes 30 minutes. So he had timed me on the way back as to why it took me so long to get to the airport. So that was very interesting. And we go in the store and we start touring, and the newspaper had heard, because of the little small town, they'd taken some pictures. And we walked around the store and different people spoke. He talked to the associates, and then we did he did the famous part there where we got to the end. He said, "Hey, get all your department managers together. I'd like to talk to them." And you'd always heard about Sam doing that, so I got them called together, and they all came to one place, and I started walking over there with him. He said, "No," I said, "your department managers, I want to talk to them alone." So that's when you'd always heard Mr. Sam would ask them how it was going in the store and how's your manager treating you. And it was kind of a, if they looked up and spoke well of you, you probably were in a pretty good spot. But if they looked down or had negative things, then, that would be brought to your attention as a manager, because he wanted you taking care of the people. So he came back, all things were good, and with that part. And so he gets on the PA, and that's back when he was doing So Help Me Sam. It was this was April 13th of 1991, and he got on the PA and made the announcement about speaking to every customer and a 10-foot rule. So we, after that, got him in the car, drove back out. Well, we went to a Rose's department store. And we went in there, and he walked it, and like some of the security things they were doing around electronics, used his microphone to talk into, and told me to get on the phone and call the next store, which was a pay phone. I had to go find a pay phone and make the next phone call. And took him onto the airport, and he gets out of the vehicle and gets on the airplane, and I'm not leaving until he's gone, of course. So he climbs up in the plane, pulls the door down, gets up in it, and calls out his tail number and says, "On the runway," well, there wasn't but one runway. I don't even know if it was paved, but he's on the runway, and he finally said, "Headed east." And then there he takes off by himself. So it was kind of funny. The next day in the newspaper, I brought some things, but it was, April 14th newspaper, 1991. They got the picture of him getting out of my car, coming out the front, and then I got the bigger picture here is there he is on the PA. Diet Pepsi had just came out, so that's in the background. But that was a big day there, and a time and reflection, just like they were showing the Medal of Honor. That was March, not even a year later, and then he passed away. So I just think in my mind, flying by himself in April of '91. There couldn't have been too many more instances where Mr. Sam was just out by himself, flying an airplane, visiting stores. So that means a lot to me to think chronologically where that falls into place. But, I'm a 24, getting ready to be 25-year-old store manager in their first store, and here comes Sam Walton to visit you and your associates. It was pretty awesome.